Right now at 6, the Quapaw Nation in Oklahoma and the producers of a TV show discuss the portrayal of Native Americans.
And we've got ourselves a chilly start to the day. It's going to be a beautiful, almost textbook November day for us. We'll have a look at forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, an increase in the number of fatal crashes on I-44 is drawing concerns from local authorities.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, November the 14th. We're nearly halfway through this month because remember, 30 days, half November.
Yes.
In fact, November's the first month in that song.
Yeah, 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving today.
I know. Isn't that wild?
How exciting.
It is. The holidays are going to be upon us before we know it, and the next thing we know, they're going to be behind us. Just like that.
Just like that.
But they're not quite here yet. However, City of Pittsburgh already getting in the spirit. This morning, we saw them on our downtown Pittsburgh camera hanging up some more Christmas decorations. And now you can see them as they sit. Look at that. It looks very pretty. They always do a great job. I mean, all of our local communities, that's one thing I love about this area is they all do a fantastic job with decorations, and they're all unique. You will not see the same downtown decorations from town to town, it seems. So that's worth the travel as it is. It looks beautiful out there. Sun is beginning to rise. Skies are clear, and temperatures are a bit on the chilly side. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. Somebody should get with MoDOT and see if they can wrap garland around I don't know if that's a good idea, but you could wrap garland around the traffic light arms. Just a thought. Anyway, let's take a look at the future track. Not much to show out there. Winds will be calm today, and skies will be clear, and our temperatures are going to be pretty close to normal as we head into the afternoon, maybe a couple of degrees above, so not a bad day whatsoever, and that will continue into the evening and overnight hours, so it's going to be cool, but again, it's November. We're going to be about right where we should be. We're sitting at 41 in both Joplin and Pittsburgh right now, and across the area, again, temperatures, we should be upper 30s. We have Yates Center and Iola both in the upper 30s, so you are normal. The rest of us a little above normal, low to mid 40s as we get this day started. Kids getting on the bus this morning, we are looking at temperatures about 41, sunny, a west breeze around 5 to 10. Winds calm down and are truly calm this afternoon, 61 and sunny when the bus brings those kids back home. As we go through today, upper 50s, low 60s, right about where we should be. Sunny skies, calm winds, an absolutely beautiful day across the area. If you're unable to enjoy today's beautiful weather, worry not. More of it is in store for us on Friday, and then we've got that roller coaster ride coming up. We're going to go over those details with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, an elderly Kansas man has died in a vehicle crash in Joplin that happened back on November 5th. The incident occurred around 9 a.m. near the intersection of 43rd Street and South Range Line Road. According to the police report, 82-year-old Leonard Venata of Columbus, Kansas, stopped his car at a stop sign. He then pulled forward and was struck by a southbound van. Venata was transported to a Springfield hospital where he died Sunday. An increase in the number of fatal crashes on I-44 is drawing concerns from local authorities, especially as roads will soon become busier with the holiday season. Now, the Joplin Police Department is just one agency who might respond to a fatal crash on I-44. Between January to October 2022, JPD responded to just one fatal crash on that roadway. In 2023, during that same time frame, they responded to 3. In 2024, that number was up to 4. These fatal crash scenes leave a lasting impact on first responders and witnesses alike.
It really makes you consider, and it really makes you want to go home and hug your family because you never know when you're not going to get to.
Authorities say when driving, it's important to put your phone down, slow down, and pay attention. Tonight on KOAM, our very own Samantha Walker will have a special report on the impacts fatal crashes on I-44 have on those involved and the steps you can take to avoid them. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Quapaw Nation has reached a resolution relating to the television show Tulsa King and its depiction of the tribe. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
Saw the episode, we were shocked.
Shocked. That's how Weena Supernaw of Quapaw Nation felt when she saw the way the tribe was portrayed in an episode of the television show Tulsa King.
Dismayed when the episode aired and reflected us in such a disparaging light. We took offense not only as a small tribal nation, but also all tribal nations.
Season 2, Episode 4 of Tulsa King aired last month and introduced characters from the Quapaw Nation who were depicted as being involved in a criminal conspiracy relating to marijuana and wind energy. Quapaw Nation says they were not given a chance to approve or reject the use of the tribe's name.
We all looked at each other and said, did you give them permission to use the Quapaw Nation's name? Did you? And of course, none of us had.
Quapaw Nation put out a statement addressing the issue, and they were contacted by Taylor Sheridan, who's listed as an executive producer of the show, and his team. Production from the Tulsa King apologized, and they had a productive conversation with the Quapaw Nation, resolving the issue.
They have come to us with great sincerity, and we've accepted that apology.
Going forward, she hopes this encourages open dialogue about allowing Native American voices to tell their own story.
The need for ongoing dialogue and sensitivity to Native American issues and the way in which we are portrayed in Hollywood or film and media at large. You know, we're not relics in a museum from the 1800s.
Reporting in Quapaw, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Following this incident, Quapaw Nation encourages writers and producers to learn more about the Quapaw Nation and its history. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A federal judge rules Facebook and Instagram parent Meta must go to trial on FTC monopoly charges. Plus, President Joe Biden welcomed President-elect Donald Trump to a cordial meeting at the White House. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. I'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Reddings Mill Bridge for Historic Bridge Awareness Month. Topping Nation Watch this morning. Well, it appears time has run out for Meta to avoid the courtroom. The federal judge denied the social media giant's request for a summary judgment in the government's monopoly case against it yesterday. That means the house that Mark Zuckerberg built is headed for trial. Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and this comes after years of wrangling by the Federal Trade Commission, including a false start in 2020 that was ultimately dismissed. The agency then filed the case again under the Biden administration, and Judge James Balsberg said in his ruling both sides have made impressive arguments, but only a trial can decide the outcome. The FTC seeks to break up Meta. Meta claims its stake in the social media market isn't as massive as it once was. Another recall for Cybertruck drivers. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says Tesla has issued a recall over a faulty part that could cause the vehicle to lose power, impacting the wheels. The recall applies to 2,400 Cybertrucks built between November 6th of last year to July 30th of this year. Tesla says it isn't aware of any accidents, injuries, or fatalities due to the issue. This is the 6th recall for the Cybertruck this year. Well, distracted driving is a major concern in the U.S. as millions are getting ready to hit the road for the upcoming holiday season. According to a new survey from the Pew Research Center, many Americans say the roads in their communities are less safe since the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. Nearly 80% are most concerned about people using their cell phones while driving. Tailgating, running red lights, speeding, and weaving through traffic are also worries. Well, this morning, there's growing reaction to President-elect Donald Trump's surprise pick of former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz to become the nation's highest-ranking law enforcement official. Gaetz has been the subject of House and Justice Department investigations into alleged sexual misconduct, though the Department of Justice later dropped its probe without filing charges. The controversy comes as the president-elect was welcomed to the White House yesterday by President Joe Biden for a meeting that lasted 2 hours, according to administration officials. Jared Hill has more from New York.
Welcome. After a bitter battle on the campaign trail, President Joe Biden welcomed President-elect Donald Trump to a cordial meeting at the White House.
Politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today.
The 2-hour sit-down as Trump's transition rolled ahead, naming Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz as his pick for U.S. Attorney General, raising eyebrows from both sides of the aisle.
It's just kind of like a God tier kind of trolling, just to trigger a meltdown.
I just think it's silly. The president is smart enough and his team is smart enough to know that Mr. Gaetz will never get confirmed by the Senate.
Gaetz, a staunch Trump ally, resigned from the House Wednesday, just days before a House ethics panel was set to vote on whether to release its report on its investigation into whether Gaetz engaged in sexual misconduct and tried to obstruct government investigations. That's according to 3 sources with knowledge of the committee's work. Wednesday, Trump also named former Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard as his director of national intelligence. She's likely to be grilled over sympathetic statements toward Russia and a self-funded trip to meet with Syria's leader. The Army vet last night on Fox News.
The American people delivered quite an incredible mandate for change in this election. Of course, there's going to be resistance to change from the swamp in Washington.
The groundwork being laid at the White House as Republicans make a clean sweep on the Hill, now projected to control the House and the Senate. Jared Hill, CBS News.
It's a new day. CBS News has learned that President-elect Trump intends to tap former congressional GOP staffer Sergio Gore to head up his presidential personnel office, according to a Trump official with knowledge of the decision. Now, Gore is the co-founder and president of Donald Trump Jr.'s publishing company. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear this morning as opposed to yesterday when we definitely had some activity out there. Nothing going on. Clouds are not in the picture either today. We'll have another look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes on the KOAM Morning News.
Everybody loves their dogs, but nobody loves picking up dog poop. Now, a Minnesota man has invented a drone that scoops up poop. Michelle Bach reports.
Twinkie.
The best innovations
it's okay.
are born out of need.
You're okay, Twinkie.
In Caleb Olson's case,
I felt like this is a huge problem.
that need is often big and always smelly, even in flood or frost. It forces the dog dad outside multiple times a day.
Why not attempt it with the poop copter?
Yeah, the poop copter.
Zelda boot up sound.
Never been done before as per his research.
That's the problem with the fake poop, is that the wind blows it away. There's so many rabbit holes I could go down.
The software engineer shows his machine can hover the grass till it detects a brown parcel. With a descent and a scoop, it takes a crap for you.
It's like, okay, where do you take the poop? Aside from dropping it on your neighbor's house?
That's a serious question.
What you could do.
What you could do.
Given its start as one pet's business in the snow.
She's the original motivating factor.
A mere pet project.
The goal is to go direct to consumer.
I think that'd be the most fun if people could have their own.
The copter's a work in progress. 30. No. 31.
No.
Iterations in. Caleb needs to make it run automatically.
You can do it in the middle of the night. You can run whenever you want.
But as important as that first task,
Decide and set a timer.
is duty number 2.
Doo-doo drone.
Flushing out a name.
Feces flinger.
As refined as the product.
Poo pilot. You can't get around there being poop in some way in the name. The biggest reward is actually picking up a poop. There's a little dopamine hit of feeling like you've made progress.
This could be the hottest gadget to drop for all your doggy drop-ins.
Now let's head over to Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Got a beautiful sunrise out there, clear skies and cool temperatures. We're going to warm up just a bit today, but be near average, warmer tomorrow. Rain in the second half of our weekend. Details when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:21 now on this Thursday morning. We are starting with the future track. Now for today and tomorrow, not a lot to show on. Winds are going to be calm. Skies are going to be clear. Temperatures today, seasonable. By noon, got some upper 50s, low 60s out there. That's where we're heading for our highs. We head into the evening. Well, still clear skies. Temperatures not bad. Overnight tonight, it will be cold, but this is where we're supposed to be. Into the upper 30s overnight tonight. Winds are still calm. Now, as we head into our Friday, we'll get a southeast breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. And take a look, though. Noon today, remember, upper 50s. Noon tomorrow, low to mid 60s. Maybe even some upper 60s trying to sneak in out here. We're going to be a bit warmer, a little more above average as we head into our Friday. And we'll still have the clear skies, though. So that's why I was saying earlier, if you can't get out today, no big deal. We've got tomorrow as well. And honestly, even though we're going to have a few more clouds on Saturday, we're still going to be dry. Saturday's a great day. If you got something you need to get done, Saturday's a good day to do it. As we head into our Saturday, again, clouds will gradually increase. They're going to be partly cloudy initially. We'll go mostly cloudy by late day and into the overnight hours. And temperatures, once again, look at Bartlesville by 5 o'clock. Could even be in the low 70s in some locations. So, again, above normal by about 10, 12 degrees out there. We head into our Sunday, though. That's when things are going to begin to change up a bit for us. Quick look outside. Take a look at that sunrise. Looks beautiful. Clear skies. Absolutely great start to the day. It is 41 in Joplin, winds out of the west at 7, making it feeling like 36. And around the area, again, temperatures for the most part about where we should be. Average is Yates Center and Iola, both at 39. Everyone else, though, low to mid 40s, not that far from normal as we get this day started. We'll be about the low 40s by 8, clear skies all the way through, calm winds, mid 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, upper 50s by noon. Upper 50s, low 60s for our highs today. Sunny skies. We head into this evening. Clear skies. If it was sunny, then we'd be in parts of Alaska where they have that period of sunshine for like 3 weeks straight. Not going to be the case for us anytime soon. Upper 30s for our overnight lows. And over the next 10 days, warmer tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, showers late Sunday into Monday. Could even have some thunderstorms out there. And then we've got that Arctic air. And as we've discussed all morning, I just want to emphasize, you don't need to start panic buying yet, okay? You're probably hearing this word. You're probably seeing it on occasion on some information that you're looking at. Maybe snow chances with this Arctic air mass. Now take a look, though. Daytime highs, even though they're going to be cold, they're going to be warm enough that any of these rain chances are going to be rain. It's just a matter of what happens overnight. If it still is raining or if any precipitation is still falling when the temperatures fall, we could get maybe a rain-snow mix. So at this point, at worst, we're looking at maybe a slick start to our morning commute Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, possibly out there. We're not talking about feet of snow. We're not even talking about inches of snow. And at this point right now, data isn't even really fully talking about snow. But we're keeping an eye on it. You should keep an eye on it as well. Stay with KOAM. We'll keep you updated. And again, as we head into next week, we'll get a lot more refined information on how that Arctic air is going to mess around with the rain chances out there. So we'll keep you posted on that. But for now, don't panic. It's going to be all right. Just some rain. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, topping Health Watch this morning, more than half of people with diabetes aren't receiving treatment. A worldwide study by The Lancet found among the more than 800 million diabetics worldwide, treatment rates are dangerously low, especially in low and middle income countries. The number of people with diabetes worldwide has quadrupled since 1990. Well, why do some people get more sick from the flu than others? The answer may be in our antibodies. According to a Stanford study, researchers found people whose antibodies produce more sialic acid had milder flu symptoms, and people who produce less had more severe symptoms. This could help identify who's at the greatest risk during a flu outbreak. And scientists say they're closer to making vaccines inhalable. A study published by the American Chemical Society says mRNA vaccines could successfully be delivered by a nebulizer, similar to how asthma is treated. Now, they've already had success in tests on mice, and the findings could be helpful for people who don't like getting shots. While doctors prescribe medications to help people, the drugs they dole out might be less effective if you're one of the many people doing this with your meds. Shanley Painter takes a closer look at how you can ensure your pills remain stable and how to keep them safe from others.
While a variety of prescription drugs help many people with their mental and physical health, pharmacists say there's common mistakes folks can make with their medicines that could impact their efficiency.
Oftentimes when I ask folks, where do you store your medications? They say, well, of course, the medication cabinet or the medicine cabinet. And my next question is, I bet it's in your bathroom, isn't it?
Most of the time, the reply is yes. It's concerning some medical experts who warn the humidity from showers and sinks can compromise the chemical composition of the drugs.
It could be humid some days, it could be cooler other days, and that's not a stable temperature to store your medications.
While storing medications in kitchen cabinets or in bedroom nightstands may be more temperature stable,
sometimes keeping medications in accessible spaces like your bedside may make it prone to having kids or pets get into those medications.
Child locks could help ensure safety.
It's hard to open, isn't it?
But what should someone do if they miss taking a dose? Pharmacists say most medicines come with info sheets with advice based on the drug you're taking. If you have doubts, call the pharmacy you got the meds from.
Sometimes that is to just wait until the next dose. Other times, if it's within a certain window, they're able to still take that dose. What I warn individuals about is probably don't double up on a dose unless it says so explicitly in the instructions.
If you take a lot of pills, organizing them in a way that works best for you can help ensure you don't forget to take them.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a sign posted on the Wesley House door in Pittsburgh raises some questions about services.
And we've got ourselves, look at that sunrise. It is beautiful out there this morning, albeit chilly. We'll have a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, another local shelter for people in need says without help soon, it could be forced to close.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Thursday, November the 14th. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure you got KOAM Plus on your smart TV. They even call them that still?
Smart TVs, I feel.
Or do they just call them like Roku TVs now?
Roku
like
TV,
I think every TV's now.
TV, yeah.
I don't even think it's kind of like smartphones. Now they're just phones. Like we don't even call them smartphones because it's the expectation. Well, anyway, however you're joining us, we certainly appreciate you doing so. It's great to have you here. Hopefully you are having a good time. And if not, you could watch me attempt to do a headstand.
Oh.
It won't go well, but I could certainly give it a shot.
That's okay.
I may be in the hospital for a few weeks, but I could give it a try.
Well, we need you here, so don't do
Okay,
that.
well, in that case, then, I'll just do this. I will show you the weather. I'll tell you about it, too. How about that? We'll start with a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh, where the sun is rising. It's looking great out there. I guess it does help if I tell you about the weather and not just show it to you, because, yeah, hey, look, flock of birds. Not seagulls, not the 80s band, but a flock of birds, nonetheless, as they continue on their journey, wherever it is they're going. And we're looking pretty good from the MoDOT camera. 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Folks starting to get their day underway, getting a little more daylight out there. And as we look at the future track, we're going to have plenty of daylight because we're going to have clear skies. Temperatures upper 50s by about the noon hour for most of us. Highs today looking pretty good as well. And the winds will be calm That's nice, because yesterday, boy, it got breezy. It got very windy yesterday. I was not prepared for how windy it got yesterday. All right, 41 is where we're sitting in Joplin. 41 is where we are sitting in Pittsburgh as well. Most of us not that far from normal. Remember, upper 30s are average lows. We got Yates Center and Iola both checking in the upper 30s. Everyone else, though, low mid 40s, so not that far off pace for where we should be for this time of year. We've got clear skies when the bus picks up the kids this morning. 41. West breeze at about 5 to 10. And when the kids come home, the winds will be calm. The skies will still be clear. We're looking at about 61. And that's where we're headed for our highs again, as we're looking upper 50s, low 60s. And again, remember, now we're settling into fall and winter. We're going to hit our highs much earlier than what we usually do during the summer out there. So again, near average temperatures. Now it's going to start to warm up tomorrow. Then it's going to continue into the weekend. Then this roller coaster ride really starts to go wild. We're going to talk about that in detail with the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon. Well, changes are coming to the Wesley House in Pittsburgh this week, impacting what services are offered. KOAM Samantha Walker explains why some services will pause.
Wesley House is an outreach ministry of the First United Methodist Church in Pittsburgh, which provides resources for individuals and families who may be struggling, especially for the homeless population. But a sign is posted on the center's door announcing several of its services will no longer be offered starting this Friday. Sherry Franks both volunteers and receives resources from the Wesley House. She says while the changes might be hard for some, she understands why they're doing it.
I know they're doing the restructuring. Like I said, they're doing the best they can. I mean, why else would they be in the shelter business? Why else would they be, giving out food to the community that needs it?
This change takes effect one day after the church resumes management of Wesley House from the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas after 2 years. The Wesley House will no longer provide breakfast, lunch, showers, laundry, or day shelter services to the community. Critics of this decision say they feel as though the change is too sudden, given how long the Wesley House has provided these services, especially to the homeless population.
Now we have these people here, and there's suddenly a withdrawal with very little transition planning as far as we know. And so what that does is leave those people kind of in a bad situation where they moved here for certain services, and now those services are being withdrawn.
The new executive director for Wesley House says they've been informing the people who use these resources about the changes for weeks now. He says it's just a pause for these services and that they're not permanently going away. In a statement sent to KOAM, Executive Director Matt O'Malley says the facility has seen, quote, a drastic increase in the number of local households served by their food pantry. That program serves nearly 1 in 5 residents in Crawford County. In his statement, O'Malley explains the decision was made to pause other services to focus more on the food pantry and its growing needs. Frank says now is an important time for other community members to step up during this time of need.
So, our community, our people, just, churches, we've got to just all band together and work together. There's so many opportunities here to help not just the homeless, but just our residents.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The executive director of Wesley House says they're working to expand their food pantry and its hours of operations. But they have not said when these paused services might restart. Well, a local shelter that has long been a lifeline for people in need is now calling on the community for help. Safe Haven Outreach Mission in Parsons, Kansas, known for providing support for the homeless, says it's facing an unprecedented financial crisis. Due to rising costs of living and a lack of sufficient funding, the shelter is struggling to cover basic expenses. Leaders at Safe Haven say if they don't receive immediate assistance, they might be forced to close their doors for good.
We're doing everything we can do. It's just we rely on God to put it on people's hearts to make the money come through. And that's either not happening right now, or it's happening very slowly, or people just don't have the money to give.
Brown says they're living month to month and they'll need about 10 grand to keep the doors open. Well, the 12th annual Empty Bowls fundraiser takes place today. The event, sponsored by Watered Gardens in Joplin, raises money to help feed the hungry in the community. For a minimum $25 donation, people can enjoy a bowl of soup, keep the handcrafted bowl, and help raise money for a good cause. And another way you can help feed the hungry in our area is through our Feed the Four States campaign. This year, we've teamed up with Extreme Power Sports Auto Center in Webb City to help collect those non-perishable food items that you can donate. Simply use this QR code for more information on how and where you can donate to help feed the 4 states. Well, Baxter Springs announces it has an interim police chief. Jimmy Hamilton was sworn in Tuesday night during the city council meeting. The move follows Brian Henderson stepping down as the Baxter Springs chief of police to focus on his new role as Cherokee County sheriff-elect. Hamilton says Henderson will stay on with the department through the end of December. The Neosho, Missouri Fire Department receives funding for equipment courtesy of the Newton County Public Safety Grant. The grant, for just over $10,000, will go toward the purchase of an extractor washer and dryer for Neosho Fire Station number 2. The washer-dryer combo is intended to ensure hazardous contaminants accumulated during emergency responses are effectively removed. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Very own Samantha Walker joins us in the studio to talk about her special report involving fatal crashes on I-44. And we have a mild and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live from the Old Reddings Mill Bridge for Historic Bridge Awareness Month. Well, fatal accidents along I-44 have been increasing at an alarming rate over the past couple of years. Now, KOAM Samantha Walker is with us this morning to share how these accidents can leave a lasting impact on mental health of those involved. Good morning to you, Samantha. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. So talk to me about these I-44 crashes that have been occurring over the past year. Now, we often are told that, driving on the highway is one of the safest things you can do, but that hasn't been the case.
Well, when you think about it, I-44, you see thousands of travelers through there every day. You see speeds of upwards of 70 miles an hour. There's also lots of construction. Sure. And so when you look at it that way, it's not necessarily risk-free. I think something that was said as I was doing this story is the only person you can control in that roadway is you. The only drivers you can, focus on is yourself. Right. And you have to pay attention to what other people are doing, but you're the only one who can control you. Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about the timeline of the uptick in these fatal crashes over the past few years and when maybe perhaps authorities started seeing a trend. Yeah, so what I specifically was looking at is numbers that Joplin Police Department, JPD, were responding to for I-44. They're just one of the agencies that might respond to a crash on I-44. Right. Missouri State Highway Patrol is the other one, the big one. But so we looked at numbers for 2022, 2023, and 2024, and we looked from the time period of January to October. Okay. So in 2022, JPD responded to just one fatal crash on I-44. In 2023, that number jumped up to 3. And then in 2024, it was 4 for January through October. So when you compare it to 1 to 4 within just a span of 2 years, that is a pretty startling increase. Absolutely. And so are there any commonalities with these crashes? Do they happen at specific times of the day or night? And is it, high speeds, distractions? What have you noticed? Well, every crash is different. I looked through both the JPD crash reports and as well as the Missouri State Highway Patrol crash reports for different fatal crashes. Every crash is different, but there's some different factors that do play into it. Those high speeds are a huge part of it. You have people who are going 70 plus miles an hour, and then, we see a lot of times with exits as well. Sure. People are going too fast when they're trying to exit. That's another issue that we're looking at. Construction zones are another place where we might see some of these accidents as well. So, they're just encouraging people, pay
pay attention to other drivers, pay attention to the roadways, what signs you're seeing, that sort of thing. So you're as aware as possible to what's happening on that road.
Sure. And real briefly here, one of the biggest focal points of your special report is the mental impact this has on first responders and also witnesses of the crash. If you could just briefly talk to me about what you've noticed and kind of, how it makes these people feel when they're witnessing it.
Well, fatal crashes, when you get there, you realize this is somebody who's lost their life. This is somebody's mother or wife or father or son or somebody's child. And so they're realizing somebody's gone there. And, first responders, I was talking, with JPD, and they said they train for this, but it's still something you never truly can be prepared for. And so it's hard.
It is hard. Well, Samantha, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Of course, Samantha will share her special report tonight on KOAM News. Stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, time for some Thursday birthdays. We're going to start in Pittsburgh with Benson. And Benson, I apologize now. I know I'm not going to say your last name correctly, but I believe it's Leitch. Perhaps. I apologize. But nonetheless, Benson, look at that great smile, too. Celebrating big number 2 with love coming from Mom, Dad, AJ, and Stella.
And staying in Pittsburgh, happy 7th birthday to Gunnar McHouston. It says love Oma, Pop, and the family.
And we've got Donovan celebrating birthday number 12 today. Happy birthday.
And happy 16th birthday to Marley, Sisney, and Gerard. It says love Mom, Dad, Evan, Aiden, Quinn, Grandpas and Grandmas, Hanson, and Prettyman.
And in Columbus, Gwyneth Eshelman celebrating birthday number 19. Says happy birthday from your family, friends, and your Pitt State friends.
And last but not least, happy birthday to Belinda Welch.
All right. Now that was a great list of birthdays. We love celebrating these, but there's only six names. There's no way there's only 6 birthdays today in the 4 states. So we need to hype this up. How can they help us?
Yes, go ahead and submit those birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos and messages to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen and to include the date of your celebration when submitting.
You certainly want to make sure that you include all of that information out there. And we've got ourselves a pretty decent day lined up. Let's start with the future track for today. All right. And what we've got is clear skies and seasonable temperatures. It's going to be pretty good out there. Take a look. This is it at noon. Upper 50s, maybe some low 60s by noon. We're not going to be much warmer than that today across the region. So our average highs, upper 50s, we're going to be pretty close. Not a bad day. Winds will be calm, and as mentioned, skies will be clear. We head into the overnight hours. The winds will be calm. The skies will be clear. And our temperatures cold, but where they should be as we fall back into the upper 30s across the region. However, it's going to be a little warmer tomorrow. Winds pick up, not significantly though, but they'll be out of the southeast at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. And take a look at noon tomorrow. So again, noon today, upper 50s for most of us. Noon tomorrow, low 60s for most of us, even some upper 60s sneaking in there. And that's part of a warming trend as we head into the weekend ahead of some rain and storm chances by Sunday and Monday as we head into next week. But otherwise, excuse me, again, not a bad day out there whatsoever. As we head into our Saturday, we're going to have slightly milder temperatures. We got warmer air building in, so overnight, now we're a bit above normal out there as we're going to see a little more low mid 40s for the lows. And as we head into our Saturday, clouds will gradually increase, even though we're not expecting rain on Saturday, so it's going to be a little deceiving. We're going to go partly cloudy and eventually even mostly cloudy out there, but no rain's expected for us on Saturday. Temperatures, though, again, above normal. Now we're talking a lot more mid-upper 60s. Take a look at Bartlesville by 5 o'clock Saturday. Could even be into the 70s out there. And then, believe it or not, skies will clear out a bit Saturday night, just a little. And then they increase again early Sunday morning ahead of those rain and storm chances heading late Sunday into Monday. Right now, we are sitting at 41 in Joplin. Breeze out of the west at 7, and it feels like 36. Beautiful sunrise out there, as you can see, clear skies. As we look at temperatures across the region, again, we're pretty close to average. We've got Iola and Yates Center both into the 30s, so you're about right where you should be. Same with Sedan and Independence out there. And then the rest, and even Pittsburgh now joining in at 39. Didn't even see that till just now. The rest of us low 40s. So again, not a bad start whatsoever. Sunny skies through the morning, bit chilly, low 40s to start, mid 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. We're going to have another look at your forecast, talk about the rain chances next week and that Arctic air mass here in just a moment, as well as the news you need to know. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to see how a new breakthrough in medical care is allowing doctors to use tiny robots to change how patients receive treatments.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Jimmy Hamilton was sworn in as Baxter Springs interim police chief during this week's city council meeting. The move follows Brian Henderson's steps down as the Baxter Springs chief of police to focus on his new role as Cherokee County Sheriff-elect. Hamilton says Henderson will stay on with the department through the end of December. The Neosho, Missouri Fire Department receives funding for new equipment courtesy of the Newton County Public Safety Grant. The grant will go towards the purchase of an extractor washer and dryer for Neosho Fire Station number 2. The washer-dryer combo ensures hazardous contaminants accumulated during emergency responses are effectively removed. An increase in the number of fatal crashes on I-44 is drawing concerns from local authorities. These fatal crash scenes leave a lasting impact on first responders and witnesses alike. Tonight on KOAM, Samantha Walker will have a special report on the impacts fatal crashes have on I-44. They have on those involved and the steps you can take to avoid them. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, get a bit chilly, clear skies, calm winds this afternoon, highs seasonable, upper 50s and low 60s. As we head into the evening hours, clear skies continue, as do the calm winds, and will be cold, but right where we should be, back into the upper 30s. Into the weekend we go. We start warming up. Rain chances late Sunday into Monday, maybe some thunderstorms out there. Arctic air arrives Tuesday afternoon and into the evening. Now we have rain chances Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. And as you can see, the daytime temperatures look to be okay out there. It's the evening temperatures we're going to keep an eye on, and just again for any possible wintry precipitation. But we're still several days away. Don't panic yet. We'll keep you informed if you need to panic, but at this point, it's really not looking likely.
All right, sounds good. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making sausage sheet pan supper in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Say that a few times fast.
Sausage, I can't even say it the first time. Okay. Well, your morning news also continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Inflation rose slightly in October. Ahead on CBS Morning, CBS News business analyst Jill Schleichinger looks at why this happened and if the election has any impact on mortgage rates.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we'll learn some tips and tricks on how you can save on this year's Thanksgiving meal.
Plus, Dustin Luno from the Joplin Fire Department joining us in the studio to talk about fireplace safety. If you saw the special report yesterday with President-elect Trump and President Biden, the one thing that I was drawn to was the fireplace in the Oval Office was out of control.
Yes,
it seemed like it was massive flame. So fireplace safety, that's coming up at 7 a.m. on Fox 14. What not to do with your fireplace. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.